views and opinions on the Air with Mike Allen show do not reflect the views and opinions of other shows associated with Fort Kick-Ass Productions. This show is not suitable for viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello, everybody. Another week has gone by, and we are here in the man cave. I'm Mike Allen. Welcome to the show. Tonight, we're going to talk about some sports. We're going to talk about current events. We're going to talk about, stuff. It's football season. August 1st has come and gone. It is officially football season. That's when the little kids start practicing. That's when the camps start going. That's when we start having preseason football next weekend. That's right. Mm-hmm. So we are going to start talking NFL football this year. That's right. I don't know what they're going to do, but we're going to be happy till at least September 15th, maybe even November 1st. But we're going to talk a little bit about that. So some of the moves that are going around. An ex-Eagles quarterback who is on a new team, who's going to make his mark this year, and all that fun stuff. So with me today in the man cave is OTA Sports Commissioner Chuck Licata. To my right, the ever-present and interrupting Leland Freeman, and driving the ship, Mad Mike. In the control room. I'm Mike Allen. Welcome to the show. If you would like to like and share this program, I'd love for you to do that. Give us some comments on your thoughts, and we'll read them live on the air, and we'll have some fun. Welcome, guys.
What's up?
It's summertime.
Hey. Who is InfoWar? They said, hey, Mike.
InfoWar? I have no idea.
That's on... Yeah, I mean,
no.
we're not
I don't know. I don't know who these people are. They're listeners that come in and watch the show. I have no idea. You know, if I have a show that only my personal friends that I know come into the chat,
I just want to acknowledge InfoWar just to let them know, hey, we got you.
Hey, InfoWar, welcome to the show.
Yep.
So we are wearing our team colors today.
Yes, we are.
Me and Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say I'm not.
You're not. Well,
who are you?
That's
who do you like?
That's the Republican team color, right?
No, the Republican team color is red, not black, and
is
gold.
It?
What is this? Black and gold?
We can't hear you.
There we go.
We can't hear you. Boom, 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 boom.
Turn your mic on. I can't hear you. Can you hear him?
I can't hear him. I can't hear him.
The talkback thing is... Yeah.
Anyway, Mad Mike's driving the boat. So... NFL football
Mike.
is finally coming. I mean, I get excited about this year every year.
Yeah. Until what?
September 15th.
Well, a couple seasons ago.
About week 4. About week 4. That's when we really know what's going to happen. That's when they start. Well, that's when they start talking about, we're going to be rebuilding for next year.
Well, a couple seasons.
We're playing for trade.
They won one and then they tied one, so they actually had a decent record for the first 2
I don't
weeks.
hear him. Do you hear him?
I don't hear him.
Talk again. Okay, there you go.
No, he's fine.
Okay.
He's fine.
It's this.
He's good.
We
can't hear Mike. I can hear you talking out here, but I can't hear you through the mic. You're number 1. That might have switched it out with the other one.
He's number 1. By the way, he's a Seattle fan in there, so
yeah, he's a Seattle fan.
Just so folks know.
Seattle. They'll go deep in the playoffs and then get eliminated. Probably
Seattle.
Yeah.
You know what? I think.
Well, they
Somebody
did win
left.
a world championship 5 years ago.
Seattle lost.
Seattle lost to the New England Patriots.
The New England Patriots
because they were stupid enough not to give it to the running back.
I thought Seattle won about 5 or 6 years ago.
The year before that, they won.
Okay.
Yeah.
They won one, lost one.
Right.
Everybody talks about that play, but if you break it down, they had given it to Lynch twice and lost 3 yards. So to give it to him again when the entire Patriots defense was keying on Lynch, it made sense to do a play action pass. Well, not to throw an interception, but to throw a play action pass. Now, when you throw a pass, 3 things happen, 2 of them are bad.
Yep.
If he catches it and they win the Super Bowl, he's a hero.
Sure. But he didn't, did he?
But
New England caught the ball.
It was well defended, and Butler had a moment in time because we've never heard anything from him since, and we didn't know anything about him before because he was
welcome to your 15 minutes of fame.
He was a second stringer, but and he played the ball. He played the ball correctly.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's one of those things where it's like we can sit and say, well, that was a stupid call only because it didn't work. However, in the scheme of things, I think it was the correct call because 2 runs prior, they lost 3 yards. So if they would have given it to him again, they weren't. Their offensive line wasn't strong enough to create the holes needed for Lynch to run through.
There he is.
All right, I got it fixed.
Is that your phone going off?
No, that is not my phone.
Okay.
But yeah, there was something disconnected on the back
So since
end.
we have the Seattle fan
Yes.
on, what are your thoughts? Should they have given the ball to Falk, or should they, or what's his name? Not Falk.
Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Should they have given the ball to Lynch and not thrown the pass attempt there at the end of the Super Bowl?
I'm definitely on the running game.
There you go.
Because if you remember a few years back, like the first time we went to the Super Bowl when we played your Steelers, we were also very dependent on the throwing game, and that led into numerous issues.
Was that
in that
the-
Super Bowl
but they
as well.
won though.
Was that
No, we did not.
No,
we
not
lost.
So
to the
Seattle's
Steelers.
been to 3 Super Bowls.
We've been to 4.
4 Super Bowls.
Yeah, we
Which
won
is-
2 and lost
Yeah.
2.
Which is the season that they won a game?
Hold on, you won 2 Super Bowls?
Yeah,
Who'd you beat?
other teams.
I mean, who were the Super? I thought they I know they won 1 for sure.
with Pete Carroll. Yes,
Well, Pete Carroll's been there for all 4 of them.
Pete Carroll's won 2 Super Bowls. I thought it was.
He's been to all 4 Super Bowls. He was the coach for all 4 Super Bowls. If they went to 4, I thought they only went to 3. Are you sure it was 4?
Hang on.
Okay, which is the season which the refs actually gave them a win in the regular season? The replacement refs. There was a big controversy about that.
I don't know. What does that have to do with Super Bowl wins?
Well, it got them into a
was a
better
regular-
regular season record that got them into favorable playoff position to actually get to the Super Bowl in the first place.
They had enough. I don't think that one game. Well, they would have won that game anyway.
That whole season was just weird because
That's because the refs went on strike.
Correction, it would be 3 Super Bowls. I thought they went to a 4.
That's what I thought. I know they won 1.
Yeah, because one was to the Steelers.
But I thought they won 1 and they lost 1.
Yeah, no, we beat the Denver Broncos.
That's it.
43 to 8
yeah,
in a
that-
blowout.
That was the Peyton Manning blowout.
that was
yeah.
the one where Peyton Manning's first play was a safety and they never looked back.
Yeah, they got
That
drugged.
was Seattle?
Yeah, it was Seattle that beat them.
06, 14, and 15.
Because I was thinking
Yeah,
about that
yeah.
whole thing. It's
Yeah.
like if you bet on Peyton Manning getting a safety on the first play, that must have been one. If anyone actually put that bet down, that must have been one money bet.
You know, I have Seattle as my dark horse, but I don't. I mean, it's one of those things where I don't think they're going to make it to the Super Bowl, but if they do, I wouldn't be surprised because they have the talent and they have the schedule. But a lot of things have to go right, like Tom Brady not finishing the season.
I was going to say,
And they also have, like, the coolest fan base ever.
By far,
they would
yeah.
have to beat
Yeah,
Tom
of course.
Brady in the playoffs. Exactly, and that ain't happening.
Well, no, they would not have to have any Tom Brady in the playoffs at all. And the only way that's going to happen is if he gets injured.
Or if he's, like, asleep and he's just like, I don't want to play football today.
Biden and the economy.
Or they just suspend him again for allegedly cheating on something.
Yeah,
So.
he grew his fingernails too long for a better grip on the football. Call it nailgate.
Actually, that's happening a lot with major league pitchers where they can't use the tacky stuff on the
They're
ball.
growing their fingernails long for a better grip on the ball.
Well, no, they're losing. They lost the ability to use the tacky stuff, so they're.
They grow their pinky nails out so they could use it.
I would just love to crawl inside your head and root around a little bit and see what the hell is going on up there,
You would
man.
be traumatized and wish
Probably.
You never did that.
I would have to be on meds after that, I believe.
Ugh.
By the way, Pittsburgh beat Seattle 21-10 in the 2006 Super Bowl.
Yeah. And
But here's the question. 26 years ago, and no, I'm not going where you think we're going. 26 years ago, the Dallas Cowboys won the 1995 Super Bowl. Okay?
Yep.
Ugh.
They won 92, 93, and then 95.
Uh-huh.
They haven't done jack shit since then.
Nope.
Nothing.
in the 90,
Nada.
and they probably should have won the 94 Super Bowl, but they didn't.
Zip 0.
They lost in the NFC Championship.
Yep.
And then
San Francisco beat them.
if Jimmy Johnson would have stayed, they probably would have had a 6 Super Bowl decade.
You can go ahead and go ahead and blame Jerry Jones for that.
Didn't Jerry Jones
Thanks, Jerry
fire
Jones, you
Jim-
piece of
didn't Jerry
shit.
Jones fired Jimmy Johnson?
Yes,
Well,
he-
it was
well,
Jerry Jones fired Jimmy Johnson.
it was mutually agreed to. Basically, Jimmy Johnson didn't want to be there anymore because
Jerry was
was-
way
yeah.
too much.
So then what Jimmy Johnson did was he decided he wanted to go sell subs and started Jimmy John's.
that's not
Really?
true. That's not true.
at all.
Really?
He went to Fox. and became
Quit
a man of-
ruining my fun here. That is up there. Like whenever I like to tell people the James Avery, right? You know, the little jewelry place was actually started by the actor James Avery, who played Uncle Phil in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I cannot tell you how many people actually believe me when I tell them that.
You tell people
Oh,
that.
Oh, yes.
oh, you should tell him that it was that James Avery was also the Shredder in Ninja Turtles. True.
I mean, yeah, but everybody knows him as Uncle Phil.
I just want to climb in his brain. Just
Who's? Mine or?
10 minutes.
'Cause
No,
mine's
in
awesome.
Leland.
Oh, well, yeah,
It's
you could do that.
fascinating. I mean, the guy can fly an airplane like a pro, and then he comes on the show, and I have no idea what's going on. You know, what I'm
Should we
saying?
have another jewelry reference
just
and
have
say
no
no?
idea.
Every kiss does not begin with K. I'm surprised no one sued them over that.
Oh, my God.
By the way,
Wonder
February
Bull, how you
2nd,
doing?
February 2nd, 2014, Seattle 43, Denver 8.
Yeah, that was
That was-
that was his. Then they came back.
2 seasons later.
Who
thought it was
Seattle?
the
No,
next
they were back
season.
the
No,
next season.
It was the next season. Denver
the
came
next
back
season.
and won it. That
That's
was
right
No, I
there.
thought
that
there
was
was two-
that was Peyton.
Right there.
That was Peyton's second ring, so he could stand having Thanksgiving with Eli.
Patriots, Seahawks, and then it was 2 seasons later. Broncos, Carolina, and that's when Denver. That was Peyton versus
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton, and Peyton went out there and had a good time. Cam Newton was playing politics.
Peyton went out there and protected the football.
Yeah.
And he just got unprotected by
Peyton Manning did not win that Super Bowl.
No.
no.
Peyton Manning protected the football
You're right. The only
and ran the game plan.
and the only passing touchdown, which it wasn't a touchdown, it was a 2-point conversion. That was it.
Yep.
So
Because Denver's defense was in frickin'
Beast mode.
well, you're not allowed to
nuke
say that.
mode.
They nuked Cam Newton's career.
That's the Denver defense is what got them through the Super Bowl.
So I wanted to play this sound clip that it's funny that you brought up that Leland can fly an airplane. So I'm going to play this quick clip for you.
He actually he's a pretty good
Don't
pilot.
worry, Scrub. Now there are plenty of tards out there living really kick-ass lives. My first wife was tarded. She's a pilot now.
What was that?
That doesn't make any
Don't worry,
sense.
Scrub.
Where was that from?
Wow.
One of the best movies ever made.
Good Lord.
Ever.
Please tell me it was not Freddy but got fingered.
Gotcha.
Oh, how many days to the election?
Oh, I don't know.
470 minus 7, so I guess 463.
463.
463. All right.
Yeah, I just figured that.
463 days to get your ID and to get registered to vote.
Yeah, I just figured that audio clip was pretty.
That was pretty good.
It was pretty relevant.
That was pretty good.
So next week we're actually going to have our NFL
The niffle.
picks. And when's the draft?
September. Hang on.
Oh my God!
I got you. What?
I don't know who
September
this Wonder
6th.
September 6th? Yeah, I'll be set up by then.
Wonder
hopefully.
Bowel is, but my thoughts on Chris Chan is I cannot wait to see that motherfucker go to prison. That guy sucks.
Chris Chan. Who's Chris Chan?
Don't worry about it. It's the whole.
Well, then
internet
why
thing.
bring it up if I'm not going to worry
Well,
about
because
it
it's-
on a show?
Oh my God! It's in the comment section. If you looked at the comment section,
Are we reading the comment section?
I mean, I do because that's part of my responsibility.
Right.
No, I'm not even really paying attention.
No, well,
I don't even have.
But if you're going to bring up a guy, say, "Hey, you really need to know about so and so." Yeah, what about him? Well, I can't tell you.
Well,
what the hell kind
no,
of entertainment is that?
Somebody asked what's my thoughts on that guy, and okay, so I'll give you a quick synopsis here of Chris Chan. Number one, he is super weird, and this dude made some of the worst art ever to have ever been released on the internet. Anyway,
Okay, so what's wrong with him?
this is what I'm.
Fill us in.
This is
I
what
have
I'm
no
going with.
idea. I've never heard of the name before
Allegedly,
until right
he
now.
allegedly he diddled his 80-year-old mother with dementia and is now going to jail for it. Which
That would do it.
yeah. So this is
We
going to
did
happen,
not need
and
to
it's now all over the internet, and it's in the comment section. So
Oh, good. Well,
Just
let's
filled you in.
monitor that because we don't want to drag that train wreck into this show.
And we didn't even. I
Holy
didn't even bring
cow.
up Hunter Biden.
Huh?
And I didn't even bring up Hunter Biden.
So I
Because
don't
of
know where,
his,
I'll be
I
back.
don't know where
his
he goes.
overpriced, terrible
I don't know
art.
where he goes
And-
with stuff.
And
He just ties it into to talking
and
points
the fact that the
all the
Biden
time.
the Biden family is apparently this is what I've read on the internet.
And everything on the internet is true.
Yeah, that's how World War I got started.
Isn't it?
On the internet. The internet
Yeah.
started it, I think.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
And if they just would have blocked Hitler off of Twitter, no World War II. Telling you, I'm serious. Hashtag attack Poland never happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I got you.
Hashtag invade
Russia
France.
wouldn't have trended hashtag we won't
Hashtag
attack
invade
we won't
France.
attack Russia, and that they wouldn't have been lulled into a sense of security before they had to defend themselves outside of Stalingrad. I mean, just think of how much the world would have changed
Oh, yeah.
if they would have
Right?
just banned that account.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my Lord. Wow. Hey, so we do know that Aaron Rodgers will play for Green Bay
Yep.
this year.
Badly.
This year.
For
Badly.
at least a few games before he gets traded.
This year. Right.
How long is
You think he's going to get traded before the season's over?
No, they won't trade him. They'll keep to the contract.
I mean,
They'll
they're
keep-
signing it to a pretty
Hey,
hefty contract
yeah,
as it is, right?
Well, I mean, Packers fans would destroy Lambeau Field if they got rid of him this season. So they're going to ride out the season, and then they're going to.
Well, they didn't. Well, yeah, they kind of did that when Favre left.
Yeah.
They had a little butthurt. And
Yeah,
then,
for
then
some
he went to
reason-
Minnesota and everybody hated him.
Green Bay quarterbacks who do well, just it ends badly. You know?
Well, it ends badly because, well, here's the deal. I think there has to be come to a point where, as an owner and coach, if you have a Tom Brady, an Aaron Rodgers, a Brett Favre, and they're still showing up to practice every day and putting in the effort, and they're productive, then you keep them around.
You forget.
Until, keep them around till they can't play anymore.
You forget that Green Bay doesn't have a traditional ownership setup. They are the only publicly traded
Well,
team.
general manager, whatever. It's not like they get all 5,000 people together to make a decision on
It's
this.
the GM.
I mean, it's the GM makes
the
the
GM.
decision on it,
Yep.
which would be the same as the owner. I mean, everybody needs to learn from Bob Kraft. Write the checks, hoist the trophies, go get a massage because you cannot masturbate with 6 championship rings.
There you go.
Be like a cheese grater.
Just don't get caught like Bob Kraft.
Huh?
Just don't get caught like Bob Kraft. Oh, actually, but here's the question.
Well, if I'm a billionaire, I'm not going to an establishment. I'm getting my boys to, bring her up to a suite.
probably
You know what I'm saying?
Probably what Jerry Jones.
You know what I'm
does.
saying? I mean, I would go
Yeah.
get I would go get the masseuse and have them come to my,
Oh, of course, right?
I'll backdoor up the elevator.
Well,
and
except Bob Kraft fucked up the whole Tom Brady situation. So do what the current Tampa Bay owner's doing.
Bob Kraft didn't do that.
Didn't he? Basically,
No, he didn't.
Well, what made it toxic for Brady that he decided to leave?
Bill Belichick. Bob Kraft did not get rid of Tom Brady. Matter of fact,
I need the writing thing.
what are we doing?
Sorry. I'm calling an audible.
Bob Kraft did not get rid of Tom Brady. Bob Kraft wrote a letter to the people of Tampa Bay about Tom Brady saying, you're getting yourself a hell of a quarterback, take care of him. That was all Bill Belichick. That was all Bill Belichick. Because Bob Kraft lets Bill Belichick run all that stuff. He's not a Jerry Jones. He doesn't sit in there and make personnel decisions. He writes checks and he hoists trophies.
There you go.
117 days.
Oh,
What is that?
Shut up.
117 days.
You know what? I hope they win this year.
No, but that's the point.
I hope Michigan wins this year.
Notice
As a matter
I-
of fact,
No, wait,
you're
wait,
going to be
wait.
at my place. We're going to watch that
No,
game.
listen
I
to
hope
me.
they freaking win.
You're missing the point.
Just
I'm not.
shut up.
No, I'm not saying how many days has it been. I'm saying it's
That's to the
117
game.
days.
Yeah, to the game.
To the game that Michigan finally gets redemption.
No, there's a couple more zeros.
I
that
hope
you
they
need to
win.
add. You need to add a couple more decimal point places that you need to add to. For the last time was. What
No,
was,
I didn't go there. I did
he
not
did.
go there.
He did. You assumed that was that's too small of a number.
No,
No,
he
I didn't. No, no. What the fuck are you guys
No,
talking about?
he said
117 days to the
yeah.
game.
He knew.
Yeah, I
But you're
knew.
go- but you're
But
going
he
go,
thought I was being sarcastic and saying 117
Yeah, then I
days
thought he was
straight.
going to come off with this. Yeah, Michigan's going to get beat by Ohio
No.
State, which they very well could, because they're
Well,
not
yeah.
probably not going to beat Ohio State again until Tom Brady becomes their head coach, which I
Right.
hear he is going to do
I believe it. 100%.
when he's done in the NFL.
which will be another
110%.
10 years at this rate.
No, it won't be 10. No way. Brady does not go 10 more years.
Okay, at least another 5.
I think you know what he'll do. He'll play out his contract with Tampa Bay and probably win one more trophy.
He keeps restructuring his contract to extend it to get to make sure that he
No,
has.
that's just a restructure. That's to get players in there that want to come play with him. And right now, that line is long and distinguished. As a matter of fact, every player in the NFL has notified their agent, if that team needs me, I'm going to Tampa Bay. Sign me up.
Yep.
So Tampa Bay the Super Bowl is theirs to lose.
Yep.
It's theirs to lose. I mean, did you see that video? I don't know. I have tried to debunk it. I've tried to find where it was.
Oh, you mean where he's throwing the football at
Where
the football machine?
he's
and then-
throwing it into the football machine, which, I mean, there's not a whole lot of pressure on those anyway, back pressure for safety. Throwing the football into the machine, catching it, throwing it back into the machine, and throws it so hard it knocks the machine over, turns around and says, let's go. I mean, talk about a hype video. I don't know, but I haven't found that that's not true, that he didn't do that.
Insane accuracy is what that is.
It's insane. It's
That's-
nuts.
That's better than a baseball pitcher.
It's absolutely nuts.
Yep. Totally agree. Totally agree.
But it wasn't Bob Kraft is a smart enough owner where he's hired a bunch of people that know a lot about football, and then he sat back and wrote checks and hoisted trophies.
Say that last part again. And then he what? He hired all the people and then he what?
Wrote checks.
No, what was it before that? Before that, what'd you say?
He hired a bunch of people that knew about about football than he did.
Okay. And he
Then he wrote checks.
No,
and
he
hoisted
sat
trophies.
back.
He sat back
and wrote checks.
The
and wrote
exact-
checks
That's
and
the
hoisted
key.
trophies.
The exact
He
op-
sat back and wrote checks.
The exact opposite of Jerry Jones.
Well,
Jerry
'cause
Jones, you stupid piece of crap.
the difference
That's how you win championships.
The
idiot.
difference is that Bill Belichick is the general manager of. Well, no, he's not, but he's works closely with the general manager of the
yeah.
Patriots, where Jerry Jones is the general manager of the Cowboys.
So do you think freaking Tony Khan are doing too much of a Jerry Jones and not enough of a Bob Kraft by making such a big deal about getting Trevor Lawrence and Doug Flutie?
No.
Not Doug Flutie. Who's Tim Tebow? What?
No,
Same difference.
no, they brought Tebow in for the culture of Tim Tebow. They didn't bring Tim Tebow in to be a Hall of Fame tight end.
No.
They brought Tim Tebow in to mentor
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence and the team. Because
And
he
the
brings
team.
a culture with him. He brings a successful culture with him.
And by the way, the pub doesn't hurt either that Tim Tebow will generate.
Yeah.
In that area, he'll generate
merchandise sales
publicity.
alone will bring in millions.
Yep. And you know, Jacksonville might have one of those.
Well, and they're in the right division for
Freaky
that to
s-
happen.
yeah, they're-
Houston ain't going anywhere.
They're in the right division, and they're loaded. I don't know if you've been paying attention
Oh,
to their
absolutely I
offseason
have.
moves and the draft picks that they have.
Yep.
Not they got Trevor Lawrence, but they didn't get Trevor Lawrence and then not get anything else.
So they
they got a ton.
Cleveland.
They yeah. I mean, and you know, I also got Cleveland as a contender. If they make it to the Super Bowl, one, I'll be extremely happy because then it'll reduce the ranks to 3 teams that had never made it to the game at all. I'll be happy for Baker Mayfield, who I think is a great who will be a Hall of Fame quarterback in the NFL.
So what are the 4 teams? Cleveland, Houston,
Cleveland,
Detroit.
Houston, Jacksonville, and Detroit have never made it to the game, ever.
That would be kind of a weird thing that you have a season where you have Cleveland and Jackson. They're not. Are they in the same league?
No,
Okay.
they're in the same conference.
Same conference.
Right.
Okay, so
Only one of them can go.
Yeah, Jacksonville actually played in an AFC championship.
Yeah, they did. They played
Like their
New
second
England.
or third year. Yeah,
They
and got
played
beat
New
by New
England.
England. Yeah, because that's when they had the expansion players on there, and they're really good. And also Carolina was in the
so if
playoffs
you
that
had
year
like
too.
Cleveland or Jacksonville and versus Detroit. in the
Okay,
Super
first
Bowl,
of all,
that won't happen.
Cleveland and Jacksonville is not going to happen. Jacksonville's not making the playoffs this year.
Right.
They're just not. They're too young.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, Cleveland will make the playoffs again. They'll most likely win their division.
Baltimore might have something to say about that.
No, they'll most likely win their division. They'll get into the playoffs, and I wouldn't be surprised if they made it to the AFC Championship. I wouldn't be surprised if it's
Depending
the
on
Chiefs and the
route, yeah.
Browns.
Depending
Yeah.
on the route.
Who wins the NFC least? You think? Washington.
Well, whatever team makes it
Washington.
to six games, so either Washington or Dallas.
Because what's his
But
face?
the winner,
Washington.
but the winner of the NFC least will not break 500. They're
Washington.
horrible. That whole conference is horrible.
Washington.
Yeah, I know.
You think Washington will get it again?
Oh, absolutely. Their defense
How
is
bad? How
so
much,
good.
How much do you think
It's
Dak's going
stout.
to decline with that whole reconstructed ankle? What about the Giants? Aren't they rebuilding?
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
Yep.
but
They're a little bit better than Jacksonville, but they're not better than Washington or Dallas. That's
And I think,
as bad as that division's going to be. It's going to be interesting.
and I have a feeling the Patriots are going to be back in the mix.
Who's the quarterback of the Patriots?
They made some good offseason moves.
They did,
They shored
but
up.
their quarterback is still Cam Newton.
Well, Cam Newton is still on the team, but they what's that rookie's name that they brought
Mac
in?
Jones
Matt Jones.
out of Alabama.
Yeah. And so
And that's my
that'll be his second year. So and they're saying he's got that same work ethic.
no. Mac just got drafted. He just got drafted.
But they're
out of
saying
Alabama.
he's got that same work ethic.
Yeah, but you know what? Have they played a game yet?
No, but he's got the same work ethic.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, that's fine.
You know, all the quarterbacks that fail as rookies don't have the work ethic that a Tom Brady had. They're saying he's got a good work ethic. So
Yeah, he's from Alabama too. So
and he comes from a culture.
he knows how to
Okay.
play against a decent defense.
So
Okay.
we'll see.
Okay. Sure. whatever
They're
you
not
say.
gonna going to suck like they did last year.
No. God, they'd be
I
they'd be
mean,
hard pressed to be
because
as
it's
bad
not
as they
just
were
a
last
quarterback that gets you there. They also have a pretty stout defense coming
Yeah,
back.
they picked it
made
up.
some good. They picked up some good
They
offseason
did.
moves.
But this is the season that's Jacksonville versus New England, correct?
Do what?
This is the season where Jacksonville plays New England, or not? Yeah.
Yeah, if Tom Brady beats New England, he will join the ranks of Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, and one more, Joe Montana,
Joe Montana.
as a quarterback who's beaten every single team in the NFC.
And Joe Montana didn't, and Joe Montana doesn't include the Texans and doesn't include what was the other expansion team that came the rebuilt Brown, whichever lineage you want to take, whether it's the Ravens or the Browns.
Well, the Browns, the Browns are the Browns.
Okay, so
The Ravens didn't.
Ravens didn't exist.
The Ravens aren't the Browns.
The Ravens didn't exist, and the Texans didn't exist when Joe Montana was there. So you're looking at Favre, and you're looking at who's the other guy?
It was Favre,
Peyton Manning.
Montana,
And Peyton.
and Peyton Manning.
So it's Favre and Peyton. That would be the only ones that beat every single team that's currently in existence.
Yeah, currently, but we're just talking about he'll join the ranks of quarterbacks who have beaten every single team in the NFL as it currently existed.
What week is that?
I don't know, but it's going to be a good game.
It is.
It's going to be a good
Better
game.
be a nationally televised game.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we
Quick.
when we come back, we're going to talk about the young gymnast whose name just flew out of my head, Simone
Simone Biles.
Biles, and our opinions on what happened with her. And we'll be right back. I'm Mike Allen. This is the Radio Man Cave, and you are on the air.
What's he got running?
Nothing yet.
Hey, I'm Ali.
And I'm Roshan.
And we're filmmakers.
Filmmakers.
We're filmmakers.
From the University of Phoenix Online.
We have an exciting new film in the works.
But we have a bit of a problem.
Financing. We need your help with financing.
Which brings us to Kickstarter.
After witnessing the success of Spike Lee's new movie, Old Boy for Young Men, we thought this could be a new paradigm. Paradigm for filmmakers who want to make more personal films.
Without sacrificing their creative integrity.
This is what we hope to maintain with our short film, An Affair.
An Affair is a political mumblecore thriller about a time in my life when I was in my 20s and I felt lost and overwhelmed. The short follows Clifford, a talking dog who's struggling to find his voice.
Clifford musters up the courage to say, I love bacon without the owner understanding.
It's cute, in a sexual way.
But we don't want to give too much away. Shut the fuck up!
No, Ellie, no! Fuck, he's dead, Ollie! Clifford's dead, stop! Ollie! Jesus!
We changed the plot,
Now it's a romantic comedy about a guy who talks to a ghost.
and I'll be reprising my role as the angry dog owner.
This time there will be no dog.
Unless you want to see a dead dog.
We need your help in raising $2.3 million so we can make the film the right way.
Using this money, we can assemble a dream team of collaborators, including Roshan's twin brother, Roshan.
Roshan will be the cinematographer, editor, janitor, best boy, and sound guy.
Most of the money we raise will be used to recoup the cost for this video,
But no good deed goes unrewarded.
which is why we've created some amazing incentives for your donation.
For a $5 donation, you'll receive a random child's report card redeemable for tokens at any Chuck E. Cheese.
Hope he's on the honor roll. And for $20, I'll perform a sex act in a baby costume.
And for a $1,000 donation or more, we'll provide a link to the movie on YouTube.
We'll be honest, we don't know if raising money here is going to work,
But it's worth a try.
and we won't let you down.
And I promise we'll put everything we have into it.
Please, help us make another movie, unless you like seeing dead dogs. Dead dogs, dead dogs, dead dogs.
All right, we are back. We are back. So, the Olympics. I don't even know what the medal count is.
Dun, 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 dun,
Let me bring up the Olympic medal count.
dun, 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 dun. It's between the U.S. and China right now in the medal.
Of course.
So, China's got 29 gold to United States 22.
And don't call them Russia. Call them the Russian Olympic Committee, ROC. Not
Oh, is
allowed to
that
call
is
them
that like
Russia.
all the previous Russian states all together in one team?
No, well, what it is Russia has been accused of some serious drug and steroid allegations. So they are under the suspension, if you will. So they have to be known as the ROC, the Russian Olympic Committee.
Sort of like Chinese
Athletes.
Sort of like Chinese Taipei. They can't be referred to as Taiwan because of the whole one China policy.
Got it. So, Simone Biles, probably one of the greatest
Oh, absolutely. The greatest.
ever to take the mat. How old is that young lady?
24? I think?
24 years old.
Even better than Michaela Maroney.
Yes.
been in gymnastics. Been on the U.S. team for 5 years, something like that. When she was 17, 18, has a crap ton of medals.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how much a crap ton is, but it's a lot. And she bowed out of the team competition, and it has caused some controversy. Now, of course, her detractors are calling her a quitter.
People need to grow up.
She can't handle the stress. These are the same guys that probably have a body style like mine. Probably haven't done a cartwheel since, you know, they're in their 20s.
Their idea of exercise is doing this.
Yeah, their idea of their exercise is going on to the Daily Mail and checking all that hot news and thumbing their Twitters and tweets and whatever.
Hey, I'm not criticizing her.
You know, all the guys that sit behind the keyboard and couldn't do anything if it, you know. But
these are the guys that would
this
fall
is
out
what
of
I.
their chair.
But this is and she was upset, and rightly so, because it was found out that the judges were judging her differently than the other gymnasts because of her skill level. They were basically handicapping her score to make it closer and more competitive with the other gymnasts.
So equity.
Exactly. So at some point, she was like, well, what the hell am I doing? Why am I out here if all the work that I've done to get to this point is now being taken away from me because somebody else's feelings might get hurt?
So the Olympics have basically turned into a participation trophy.
Exactly. So she and the U.S. team, by the way, still went and won gold without her.
Yep.
And had she stayed in with the U.S. team with the new way that they were scoring her, they could have not won gold. So that's why she bowed out. So, and that takes a lot of courage, because when you work your whole life to do something and then you decide not to do something, especially for the reasons that you know, those reasons, I mean, that's crazy.
Can
you imagine? Tom Brady has to go out there and he has to wear an oven mitt to play. Just to make it,
or they started off with a negative score, but yeah, that is, and I'll spell it out first. That way, people don't mistranslate it. That was a very selfless act that she did for the overall team. That she did that was what she's basically said.
Yeah,
that takes a lot of. That takes more courage.
That takes a lot of courage.
That takes more courage than actually going out there and trying to compete, because you realize you have to sacrifice yourself for the greater good.
Well, and it shows a lot of maturity, and it also shows how political the games have gotten. It used to be that if you just ran faster or jumped higher or ran longer or threw better or shot better or, you know, did gymnastics better, then you got the gold. And now they're interjecting
politics.
Now it's turning into basically the NCAA football, Division I football playoffs, where only the popular get in the Final Four, and the rest of the teams are left out in the cold. And I think
I'll take
and to be able to, you know, bow out gracefully and say, I'm not going to compete in this because I don't want my score to drag my team down after dedicating her life to this sport. I think a lot of changes have to be made at the Olympic Committee level, to be honest with you.
Well, the Olympics have a history of doing a bunch of unethical stuff. It's like with the hosting cities, a lot of these cities, like Salt Lake, for example, with the bribes that went down with that. It makes Formula One, with the way their ethics are and their finances are, they make them look like a bunch of Boy Scouts compared to what they're doing with the Olympics.
Well, it's just politics. It should be down to what is that person doing.
By the way, Biles will make her return to the competition floor tomorrow.
And the individual stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Final day of gymnastics event finals. Simone Biles makes a return to the floor. The 24-year-old withdrew from the women's team final and other individual events to focus on her mental health and experiencing the twisties.
Yeah.
So
shouldn't be stigmatized at all.
Well, mental, and you know, we're talking about a 24-year-old young lady.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you guys, but when I was 24 years old,
oh no. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Close. I mean, I wasn't as mature as I am now.
No
I haven't gone through the experiences that I've had now. A lot of different things bothered me.
Not a clue.
Especially when, you know, when you work so hard for something and it's basically being taken away from you and you're powerless to do anything. I can understand. I can understand being angry. I can understand being hurt. I can understand stepping back and saying, you know what? Why am I even here?
Mm-hmm.
Because you know the Olympics is making money off her image.
Oh, absolutely.
You know that the TV is making money off her participation because everybody's going to everybody's going to tune in to watch her perform.
And most of the amateur athlete and most of the competitors still have to remain amateur athletes, which means they can't take any endorsement deals. The NCAA.
Well, yes,
deals,
they can.
Does that
yes,
actually,
they can.
Does that actually
Yeah.
cross over now
Nope.
to amateur?
No,
Nope.
no. Yes, they can.
Are you kidding me? Have you seen Biles on the
Biles is on.
Uber commercial?
Yep.
What's the other one? She's on another one. Another
Well, I
brand.
mean, Bruce Jenner was on Wheaties. They're on
Yeah.
Wheaties boxes. They're promoting Nike or whatever the brand is.
yeah.
I mean,
Biles
they can.
is on another one.
No.
too.
Well, when I mean, there's professional gymnasts, and she's one of them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, they call the Olympics amateur
It's not
athletics. It's
amateurs.
not
Are you
amateur
kidding me?
athletics.
NBA. I mean, basketball. The whole deal. By the
Oh,
way.
how about the NBA players that went to the Olympics and they're getting beat?
Yep.
They
They're
were
getting
beat in the first
beat.
round.
Yep.
Same thing with the soccer. Same thing with what the soccer players. Women's soccer.
The women's soccer got beat in the first
Women's
round
soccer
too.
got.
Yeah.
Yep. By the way, medal count: USA with 64, China with 62, but China has 29 gold to 22 for the Americans.
But we got more silver.
Americans lead everybody with 25 silver and with
So
17
we are
bronze.
We are the best
Best
of
first
the losers.
Yes.
That's right.
We're the first losers.
As Ricky Bobby says, if you ain't first,
You ain't first, you're last.
That's right.
Well, you know, it used to be, and of course these medal counts are silly, but it's kind of fun to watch.
Sure it is.
But let's
By
go
the way,
all the
the
way
ro-
down to the bottom here.
The Rock is third, by the way, with
Malaysia rocking it with one bronze.
50. Yep.
Go Malaysia.
Where's the
Hooking it up with a
one?
bronze. Or
say-
Pakistan got a gold
Did,
and a bronze.
Did North Korea?
Latvia rocking
Has
a gold.
One gold, and that's it. Puerto Rico.
Any for Bratislava?
Monaco has a gold. What
Bratislava. Any for them?
Bratislava? I don't see Belarus.
Now, did North
one.
Korea and South Korea
Mexico has
enter
3
as
bronze.
one Korea this go around? Or
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't see them in there. They might not have won any medals
Good chance.
because they don't. If you didn't win any medals, that would be a 0.
The homeland, Italy, 4 golds, 9 silvers, and 15 bronze. Hey, it's not bad.
Go
We're in the
Italy.
1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're 7.
No, South Korea is there as its own country, 6, 4, and 9.
How about the host country, Japan? How many do they have so far?
17, 6, and 10, number 3.
Yep. Italians better than the South Koreans. Thank you very much.
Yep.
That's right. And only, what, 20? They're 5 behind Japan. It's all right. We can do it.
Yeah,
We can do it.
we can do it.
Right on, baby. Right on.
Let me see. Hold on.
Yes.
Oh God, I don't care.
Why?
I just don't care.
Oh,
Maybe sort of like the
We
television.
came in second in gold medals. Yeah, but think all those gold medals represent a human being that is at the pinnacle of what they've chosen to do and they've dedicated their life to. That's what we need to be celebrating. Not that we didn't get as many gold as China. Who gives a
Exactly.
shit?
that's
Well,
right.
And also
Who
the fact,
cares?
and also the fact that they had to go an extra year with training because a lot of these training cycles they're factoring in. The
Oh,
Olympics
that's
every 3
right.
years.
Yeah, we're a year later. So are the Winter Olympics next year?
Yes.
Okay, is it going to go back into the?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be winter's going to be, it's still going to be 2022, 2026, and the next Summer Olympics are going to be 2024.
2024.
But yeah,
Okay.
the fact is that all these guys that were prepared, they were trying to get into their peak last year, and then they canceled the games. When did they? How many weeks before did they cancel?
Well, they just had that much more time to prepare.
Or they had to maintain that peak because it's hard because you. Used
No,
to,
I would
you used to
if
play
I knew
some-
if I knew it was going to be a year, I'd have laid back and had some beer and nachos.
except for you.
You know what I'm saying?
Except for you did because the games were canceled about a month before.
Grab some beer and nachos.
Before
I
they were
got
supposed to
6
happen.
months. We'll get back into it in 6 months.
Yeah, we'll see you in 6 months.
Yeah, I'm going to go into quarantine and get level up on my PlayStation. Mike, are you with us?
Mikey, you've been rather quiet, bud.
Currently very occupado,
Oh,
Ah,
Yes.
do we know
doing
her?
some work here.
doing some producer work.
Do we know him, her, it, something?
Very important.
Okay.
It's what I'm paid for
Hey.
to, do or whatever.
What?
You
Oh,
know.
missed it. Sorry.
I have responsibilities back here.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't get it.
Okay.
Not him. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Not a clue.
Not a clue.
Not a clue.
I still have a YouTube channel.
Yes, you do.
As well, you should.
As well I should.
Absolutely.
So we talked about football. Oh,
We
let's talk
talked
about college football.
Oh yes. The
So apparently, go ahead.
This was published in a Kansas paper that it was ESPN that is actually trying to accelerate the demise of the Big 12 to get out of $1 billion of television rights fees obligations, including to the Longhorn Network. So Texas and Oklahoma, they are leaving no later than 2025. They're probably going to be leaving sooner, and both schools would have to pay.
I'd say next year.
Both schools, if the league doesn't collapse, would have to pay an $80 million exit fee each. And the question is, where would that go to? But what ESPN is trying to do.
To Big 12. It'd go to Big 12.
But what is the Big 12? The other schools, pretty much, is it divvied up? Or?
Well, I mean, the Big 12 conference has its headquarters. It has an organization and bureaucracy as the governing body of the Big 12. So it would go to that for promotion, for office, for whatever they use it for.
So what ESPN is trying to do is they're trying to convince the other schools to leave too, which means there is not going to be a breakup fee because if there's no conference to get out of those rights fees. And I believe it's the commissioner called them out on it. And ESPN's denied it, but it makes perfect sense, especially since...
Well, Texas wants to leave the Big 12 anyway because it thinks the Big 12 is holding them back from getting into the Final Four.
It's the product on the field that's holding them back.
But they're not going to be able to have their own
ESPN,
network.
And ESPN hopes they leave
If they
soon.
go to the SEC has a network.
Right, and so the ESPN is hoping that would happen because that way it breaches the Longhorn Network contract, and they can basically end the Longhorn Network and not have to pay.
Well, I thought it was going to end anyway.
It is going to end.
So why don't they just let it end?
Well, they're trying to make it end sooner because so right now the contract for the Longhorn
It's going to
Network,
save me $80 million. I'll let it run for another year. Am I right? I just won't renew it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yep.
the Longhorn Network's contract is till 2031. Is it what, $15-20 million a year, something like that?
What's up?
You're
the Longhorn
$15 to $20 million a year.
So say $20 million a year goes from ESPN to UT. That's another 10 years. So that's $200 million that they would save. Oh yeah, they're going to try to basically cause them to move to the SEC sooner.
And Texas is just going to slide over there and be a mid-tier team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they can't even beat Oklahoma. So you have Oklahoma, then you got
LSU. Oklahoma's going to roll over there and be a mid-tier team. Both of those teams are going to roll into the SEC.
Mid-tier.
Because let me tell you, the
not gonna
Big
be
12 competition is nothing like the SEC competition.
The SEC has the defense.
Now, even though I believe that the SEC isn't the most powerful conference in the nation, because we will never know that because they're not on equal footing and they don't get equal propaganda and they don't play the. Have you ever noticed that it's very rare that in a non-conference game, those teams will play the top team in Conference USA? They'll play the shittiest team in Conference USA. UT's not going over to Conference USA and playing who's the top team? BYU.
Yeah, they're playing Rice.
They're playing Rice. They're playing Louisiana Lafayette.
But
Alabama isn't going over to the Mountain West and playing Utah. They're playing
Georgia.
South Dakota State.
No, but do you know why that is?
Yeah, so they can pad their numbers and have a preseason, and then when they go into the end of the year, they say, we're undefeated. Look at our points for and against. That's exactly why.
No.
They want an easy win.
No.
Why? Okay, why?
It's because their conference is kick ass.
Then play the best teams from the other conference if you're so fucking good.
And they have to pay those teams money.
Remember when
avoid a
UT...
home and home.
Remember UT's national championship run? Remember that year?
Yeah, Texas versus North Texas.
What's the game they tanked?
I don't know.
What's the game they didn't play because if they would have went and played that game and lost, they wouldn't even have been in contention for the national championship because they're one of the teams that have to be perfect to get there.
Tell me.
Wait a second.
University of Hawaii under June Jones.
Wait a
They
second.
tanked that game. That year, they dropped that game from their non-conference schedule and then went on to win the national championship. Yes, they did.
Wait. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Because Hawaii was in the top of the Pac-10 and kicking everybody's ass. And there was like, well, we don't want to fly all the way out to Hawaii for jet lag. They didn't want to go out there and get beat.
Yeah, that's why they refused to play teams like, Boise
What
State.
happens when they bring UCLA in here?
Oh,
they get their ass whipped. What happens when they bring Ohio State or Notre Dame in here?
they
They
got
get
their
their
ass
ass whipped.
Or-
So they
or-
stop playing them.
or
So this
Boise.
year, who they playing? Who's their non-con? Bring up their schedule. Who's their non-conference this year? Louisiana Lafayette, and I think
University of Texas football schedule 2021.
Yeah, they just
so.
don't.
So, but if you
Louisiana
had,
Lafayette, Arkansas, which is not going to be an out of conference in a couple of years. Rice.
yeah, see, so they're playing the worst of the SEC teams. Arkansas. Go play LSU.
Well, it was Ohio State.
Go play Alabama.
It was Ohio State that they ended up winning barely that year for the national championship season.
Yeah, they just don't want to play teams like Boise State and then get blown the fuck out and embarrassed.
So Louisiana Lafayette,
Or,
Arkansas,
good old Wazoo.
Rice, then Texas Tech, TCU,
Still one of the best
Oklahoma,
college games ever.
Oklahoma State, Baylor, Iowa State, Kansas, West Virginia, and K-State.
Iowa State's going to the Big Ten.
So K-State probably is too.
I still say they need to get rid of this poll garbage.
They do. They need to have a playoff.
Yeah,
If
because
they get rid of the Big 12, which they will, they'll have 10 major conferences. 10. That's a playoff.
And then just do a March Madness.
Yeah. All conference champions are in. No ranking. No 2-loss Alabama goes in under a 1-loss LSU who's a conference champion. You get in. Play the fucking games. That's a whole month
Yeah.
of meaningful football. That's not taking kids out of class. That's not keeping them from going to study. Come on, give me a break.
Yeah, the
give me a
semester's
break.
The semester's over, and Division I AA and below is all playoff based.
FCS and everything else is playoff based. Yeah, and if you have a 16-team playoff, say you do this, you have
Harvard's
10,
Division
you have 10
II.
conferences, right? So you have 10 conference champions. That's 5 games. You're gonna have to even it out, right?
I would even go as far as saying you take the top 2 teams from every division.
Well, that's 20 teams. That's too much.
No.
16. You got to round it up to 16. 16 teams. So do it like the NFL.
Absolutely.
If you have a conference that has 2 top
Absolutely.
teams and they got 1 loss, they get in the 16
You
team
go
bracket.
16 teams, you can't complain.
Fucking seed them up and play.
That's
That's
it.
4 weekends of meaningful football in December. 4 weekends. You got 8 games the first weekend. That's a Saturday. That's all day Saturday, which is basically college football anyway. You got like 39 games going at the same time. So you have like a maybe fucking working in with the NFL, whatever.
Exactly.
Play on a Monday night. Play on a Friday night. Because that's in
You go-
December, so all the high school's done except for
You
playoffs.
go Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
then you go the next week. You
Then
do
the
like
next
the
week,
NFL.
you don't even need to do that because
Right,
the first
exactly.
weekend would be 8 games, second weekend would be 4 games,
Yep.
then 2 games for the final 4,
Right.
and then you got your championship.
Yep.
That's 1 whole month of meaningful football.
Exactly.
See, the reason why they don't want to do it, though, is they don't want teams like Appalachian State, who has a program that costs $30 a year.
But I think that would
That's
be
what needs
great,
to happen, though. But, unfortunately, they're still not going to
That
do it
would be
because that's not going to
so
draw money.
awesome. What if we had a 15th, like a 16 seed against a number 1 seed Alabama, and
That would be-
Alabama
that would
gets
be-
upset in the first round? How cool would that run be?
Yeah,
It would be like a few years back if you remember when OU played Boise State and lost.
Yeah.
Well, this is, Texas
And
Athletics is
everybody was like, "What's Boise State doing here?" And they're like, "You realize there's good football programs in some of these
Texas-
smaller
and not
schools, right?
only that, Boise State Oklahoma game in my lifetime is the greatest football game ever played.
And Texas is the perfect example of throwing all the money in the world and you can't get a competitive team on the field.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and
they're dumping that end zone expansion's $125 million.
From Randy Fry, it's just a play on the part of UT and OU for more money.
That's exactly what it is.
We said that last
SEC
week.
TV contract 3 times the Big 12. Programs that already have obscure amounts of cash. Hit it on the head, Randy.
Exactly. And the fact that everyone knows, including UT, that the Longhorn Network is a giant piece of garbage, and they're trying to look for a graceful way out of that.
Yeah,
The production values are terrible.
yeah.
There's they licensed 3 songs. They have all the money in the world. They have ESPN and the University of Texas, and they license, 3 songs, and they loop those on the game?
3 songs. What are you
Loop
talking
it.
about?
The bumper music.
I mean, I don't know, man.
Oh,
That's
I
not.
don't know.
I don't
doesn't-
care.
I don't think bumper music has anything. I'm telling you, I want to get in his head just for an afternoon with a 6-pack of beer and a bag of pretzels. That's all I want to do, man.
Dude, you get fucking lost in there.
You might
would.
die.
I would get in there
You
and
get
I would come
lost.
out a changed man. I really do.
You would get lost.
I
man.
do. I'd come out a changed man. I totally believe that.
Part of
get
you
lost.
would die.
Probably.
It's like
This is that's possible. That's
You-
seriously possible.
you might not. I don't know.
They'd have to start a whole like a funding thing to get money for my medication.
Then again, he didn't realize I was 60 years old last week either. So
I didn't.
You know.
There
you
is that.
carry it very well. I'm
you.
seriously. I thought you were my age at least. 52.
How old
50.
are you?
I'm 54. I'll be
Oh, okay,
55
thank
this
you.
year. So
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank
yeah,
you.
man, 60. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old for it.
Old
Yeah.
fuck.
If you didn't know, I'm like the most attractive 60-year-old here, though. Let's be real.
Yes, you are. You
Yeah.
are some hot. You are some hot product there, buddy.
Jesus Christ.
And that's the time we end the show.
especially with that. Hey, especially with that new haircut, man. Like to do.
Man,
And the mustache.
You
Yeah.
look. Yeah, you look like.
You look
like-
human.
you look like the before of a 1980s aerobic video.
I seriously had to do a double take when I saw you. I was like, "Who's that? Oh, that's Mike. Wow."
it was
Okay.
super hilarious when I went into work because people were like, "Who's the O?"
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
should
Now,
wear
did you cut it yourself?
No, one of my friends, she does hair, and I
Oh.
went to one place because of how bad my hair was starting to get, and she was like, "No." She told me, "No."
Well, you can't roll into supercuts with that, man. You got to go to Hutter Barber. Go see Rick at Hutter Barber.
Well, I had
He'll
one
talk
of
shit to you while he cuts your hair.
one of my friends. She's been cutting my hair for years, and usually she does a really good job dealing with this angry mop. And this last time around, it was getting really bad just because I work outside and there's constantly dust and concrete and all this other crap. So like it was
Oh
getting
man, it was
it was starting to get
bad.
pretty ratty. So I was like, "Hey, heads up, this is gonna suck." And she was like, "Yeah, bring it over. We'll see." And she was like, "Oh my god!" Like it was starting to get like pretty matted in the back. I was like,
nice.
"Yeah." So
Nice. Anyway, it looks good, man.
I had that dealt with,
Kinda.
and now it's just kind of, in its weird, awkward stage. Once it grows like a little bit longer, I'll be able to groom it better. But at least for dealing with it right now in the summer, it's definitely a huge improvement.
Nice.
Other than the fact that it left my ears slightly exposed-ish. I try to keep it long enough to sort of cover my ears, because if not, they get sunburnt horribly.
Well, that's why you put sunscreen on it.
Yeah. Like I use sunscreen. We've already figured that out. I don't. I'd much rather get a rockin', bitchin', gross farmer's tan and sunburns all over my whole body than use sunscreen. Just
Nice.
to prove a point.
Wow.
Oh, I don't know if you missed it, Chuck, but like 2
What?
weeks ago we went and floated the river,
Mm-hmm.
and I had the most horrible sunburn on like the front half of my body.
Really?
And like I was peeling for
It was like a half lobster.
yeah.
It was very appealing. Is that what you're saying?
See,
It was horrible.
I can only
See,
imagine
as
how
he
painful
floats
that
the river,
was.
he forgot to flip over. And
Yeah,
cook,
so it was
and
just
cook the other side.
my
He
whole
just sat on one
my
side,
whole front side was just burned,
like,
and like
the whole way down the river.
yeah, like my face, it got like a mild red sunburn because I at least try to
Hey,
apply.
you know how the chicks in the club when they wear a miniskirt after going to get a spray on tan, but they only
Yeah.
spray the front.
No, spray the front. Yeah, exactly.
That was
Yeah.
him.
Yeah,
Oy.
it was bad. So like I'm over here like going back to work like on a Monday, and it's 80 billion
It was
degrees
bad,
outside, and I have this huge sunburn, and I'm horribly dehydrated because the sunburn is just adding insult to injury, and
Oy.
like I'm over here trying to basically make sure my guys get this stuff jackhammered out, and I'm like trying not to move, and they're like, "What's wrong, man?" And I like pull down part of my shirt, and they're like, "Oh my god, that looks like it hurts." And I'm like, "No
You
shit,
think? You think?
like this is
Kinda.
bad." They're like,
Just a little bit.
Oh, sunburns suck, dude.
"They're like,
Oh,
we
yeah.
didn't
Oh,
know,
yeah.
we didn't know you would get sunburned." And
Yep.
I'm like, "All right."
Tell you, when I was a cop, I got sunburned on my back, and then going to work, having to wear a vest.
Oh.
How much aloe cream did you have to put on?
That stuff never works.
It doesn't.
When it's burned, it's
Totally
burned,
agree.
man.
Yeah,
I mean, if you put aloe on it and then don't have anything on it and sit under a fan, maybe, but
Yeah.
Totally
anything,
agree.
and then it was bad because it was burned and I had the vest on. But then when it gets to the peeling part,
Yeah. That's when it starts to.
and we were in Saudi Arabia during the Gulf War, we got sunburned, but the sweat would bubble up the skin from underneath. So
Yeah.
we had like these big sweat bubbles of skin. So you go up behind somebody and slap them on the back, and it'd just be like, I'm sorry. Did I get a little too real there for you?
Yeah. Sorry. Didn't need those images, but thank you.
I was gonna say, did you put icy hot on that too? Just
Oy.
Yeah, no, it was pretty bad. And the guys in my crew, they're like, we're surprised you got sunburnt. And I was like, oh, what's that supposed to mean? They're like, well, usually you're the guy who's like touting, put on sunscreen or do this. And I was like, fair enough. But I mean, I was out on the river drinking, so
Yeah,
all that kind of went the wayside. And I mean, with that
Well,
being
last time I
said-
floated the river with Alex and Kelsey, I got burned too.
yeah, and even then,
I had screen on, but you're in the water, so
yeah,
it's
everybody
just a
else who had
giant reflector.
sunscreen, it was the same thing. Like everybody was burned, and mine wasn't as bad as some of the other.
but it was
people.
fun though, right?
Oh, it was definitely worth
Yeah,
it. It was
definitely
just
fun.
Come Monday, I was like, I feel like hot garbage.
See, but when you get older, anytime you do something like that, you have to do it on a Friday, so Saturday and Sunday you can recover.
You can recover.
Yeah.
Need
before you
recovery
have to go
time.
back to work on Monday.
Serious recovery time.
What's super funny though is like as I'm looking right now, because I could see myself like in the screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have like a tan line around my face that it looks like from where my sunglasses are constantly,
and,
I'm like,
and your old hairline.
You're pit vipers.
yeah, I'm like looking over here. It looks like if you guys have ever seen Eastbound and Down.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, you're
if
all over that.
The
Yeah.
Kenny, like the picture of Kenny Powers when he has like his Oakley's tan on his
Oh,
face.
yeah.
I'm like, I just realized I look like that on camera.
You are the retarded Kenny Powers
Oh, yeah. We'll take that one. I'll take
Nice.
that all day.
all day long.
Yeah.
All day long.
I still think his K-Swiss commercials one of the best promotions
The
ever.
K-Swiss tubes.
Oh my god.
Those were good. Those were amazing.
Well, I liked him in the Tropic Thunder.
Well, yeah. Basically anything that guy touches is just pure gold.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, break time.
All right, let's take a break. Some Mad Circus is coming your way. You can subscribe to their channel and catch new videos every week. Plus, if you're in the Austin area, they have live comedy shows. Go to the link in the description. I can't even talk anymore. Go to the link in the description. They have a link to the Mad Circus Comedy webpage. Go there and check them out. Mad Circus Comedy. And we'll be right back after these short skits. I'm Mike Allen. This is the Radio Man Cave, and you are on the air.
And come on. I'm trying to get it over here. And go.
It's your dog, homie? Yeah, it's my baby. She's beautiful, man. Oh, hey, what's up? Do you feel trapped at home? Feel like you got nowhere for you and your dogs to just be safe in an open environment? Come to Dog Park. You and your homies can post up without being worried about getting looks. This ain't court, homie. No judgments here.
Like this girl, like my Theo Ricardo. What is this? Man, who's scared of my hood?
Whoa, ese. None of that here. Don't you see the sign? Here at Dog Park, we keep the beef outside the fence.
Okay. Ain't no
Alright.
problem.
Take it easy, man.
Hey, man.
What? Come to Dog Park, where dogs can be dogs.
And we are back.
All right, welcome back to the show. We can get Chuck off the couch for the last segment. You're done?
Just turn one of the cameras.
Oh, man.
Huh? Oh, man, look at this guy.
Chuck requires comfort.
Unbelievable.
Damn it.
Unbelievable. Look at that.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that couch is awesome.
Yeah, the couch is really comfortable.
Right, no, that's my cam. That's your cam.
All right.
Yeah.
So what do you want to talk about? Dare I ask
Me?
that you got off the Daily Mail or Breitbart or some other right
Well,
wing?
we're going to have lockdowns in about 2 weeks.
Lockdowns in 2 weeks, everybody. We're gonna lock this son of a bitch down.
New lockdowns.
New lockdowns. Is that gonna happen?
It probably is
the
gonna
whole
happen.
state, everything.
It's going to be basically the
So basically, like last time, everybody's locked down except everybody.
it's stupid.
We did have to go back to wearing masks at work.
What?
Did
Well,
you really? Outside?
No.
Oh.
Well, they ask us to if we're talking to the customers, and even then, it comes down to like the customer's discretion if we talk to them. But the guy, like the last 3 places I've been working at, they're like, yeah, I don't give a shit. But at least like when we're inside, the building, because
Yeah.
obviously you're in super close proximity to people in the offices, or if we're on.
Yeah, I've had to throw my gator on around my neck because I have to go check properties where I have to go and check with.
Yeah.
Well, it's I'll tell you, they're the properties that the city bought to home the house, house the homeless,
Yep.
and so we all know they're beacons of cleanliness.
Yeah.
So I have to go in there with a mask on. But do you think they're going to lock down the whole country?
I don't know, man.
For the they're going to lock down the whole country.
On one side, they're saying, we're
For the
this, that,
8
the other,
trillionth
yet they
time.
allow Lollapalooza to happen where you have 400,000 people packed into a park.
But they were wearing masks.
No, they weren't.
You know that. You know every single person there wasn't. 400,000
They
people.
showed-
Every single person
They
there wasn't
showed
wearing a
aerial
mask.
shots of it, and the vast
Aerial shots, and you can see each individual person who was
You can
wearing a
actually
mask.
see that. Yes, you can actually see the definition of someone's face versus a mask. And same thing with the Austin FC. Most of the people weren't wearing masks. And the interesting thing to think about is it's getting to the point where you could tell who voted for whom in the election. I go, mask wearer, and you look like a liberal. You voted for Biden. Someone who's someone who's barefaced. It's like, you vote for Trump. At this point, that would be the perfect way to guarantee security in an election. Since everyone,
So your profile.
since we're so balkanized, and since we're so polarized as a country, we're so public of who we voted for. Why don't we just say no longer? Let's have a secret election. It's like, here's the vote. Here's who we voted for. This is. It's all public, and that way there isn't any cheating going on.
So you profile people.
That sounds like profiling.
So if I walked up to you and I had my gator on and had my mask on, you just know I voted for Biden.
I would assume you voted for Biden.
I mean,
You would assume that I voted for Biden.
here's my thing. What if I'm like cutting metal and I have a mask on my face so I don't inhale metal particles?
You would have a face. You would have like a metal face visor or something like that.
No, I just wear my pit vipers and have my neck gaiter on my face because it's literally just dust.
So do you look down on people that wear masks?
I mean, I wear masks because I also don't like
Hold on.
breathing
I'm
weird
asking
dust.
Leland. When you're out in public,
Yeah.
when you
because
see people that are wearing
people that are
masks,
breathing
do
their
you
own
look?
CO2? And yes.
Yeah. So you look down on them as left wing, leftist, progressive Biden supporters.
I guess the other choice I could have brought up was the Nauka module, but you guys wouldn't have cared about that.
The what?
The Russian module that when it docked to the space station, its thrusters kicked on and knocked the thing out of axis. I could have talked about that, and it would seem a bit less controversial.
What does that have to do with
I said
masks?
What does that have to do with
That
masks?
would have been the other choice I would have had.
Well,
to talk
we're
about.
on the mask thing.
But you're on the mask thing. I'm digging down this hole
Yeah,
here.
come on, mask hole.
So let me ask you this: if somebody who was a Democrat actually had a good idea, and everybody could agree that it made sense, there was common sense attached to it, and it was a good idea, you would still not support it because he's a Democrat.
Not necessarily if it was actually a good idea. I'm looking at the statistics.
But
and
what if
numbers.
a Republican?
Every time there's a mask mandate, guess what? The infections spike up after the mandate goes in. It drops after the mask mandate's repealed.
So don't you think there's a delay in reporting? That maybe the mask mandate was the cause of the infections going down, but it was like a delay because they have to gather
Over
the information.
several months?
Yeah, they have to gather all the information. I mean, this isn't
Supposedly
real
it's
time. I mean, I know you're used to real time, but it's not. It's not like real time.
It's the data they're getting is if they're reporting on every day the amount of positive tests there are and how many ICU beds are available, if that is being delayed real time, and that's after, it's usually after the mask mandates go in, or if the data comes in that.
But hold on, you said we're gonna you're getting off track. And you're a master at that, and I need to get better at defending that. But you think we're gonna lock down and lose a football season again?
It wouldn't surprise me.
No, I'm asking you.
Yes, I do think.
You think that's going to happen?
I think that's going to happen. I think it's going to. If you look at what's going on, in
even
other
though the
countries-
infection rates are extremely low and recoveries are 99% and 60% of the country's
because
vaccinated.
I'm looking at what all these other countries. You have Australia; they're using the military to keep people in their homes. You look at Europe; that they're.
We're not Australia. We're not Europe. And Europe actually is open. If you watch the Hungarian Grand Prix, they had 100,000 people there. Some were wearing masks, but it was open.
Some countries in Europe, not all countries in Europe.
Well, Hungary's kind of right in the middle of it. Well, Canada's lost right now. Canada is not.
Any of the countries.
Canada has suspended all elections and basically have a dictator in charge, and they've banned all personally owned weapons. Did you hear that? Did you know that?
All weapons, period. Now, not just sporting rifles, but all weapons, period. So, pocket knives are banned.
Firearms. Come on, man. Do you think the government's going to give a shit about somebody's knife?
Mexico. Okay.
Just one day. I just want to get. I want to take that Bud Light case, a bag of pretzels and some ranch dip, and just root around in there for one day. I mean, it's like you're walking down a path, and then he just goes off in a whole other direction.
I don't know, man.
Are you getting this, Mike?
I think it might be relatively unsafe to do that.
It would probably
I don't.
I mean, I'd wear a parachute and a condom, but other than that,
here's the issue that you're going on with brain diving here, and we're gonna go into some nerdy stuff here.
Okay.
So you're gonna do, like, hypothetically, you wanna brain dive on Leland here. Well, you have to worry about it because, I would say that sounds like a very good way to corrupt your own mind and probably lose part of your own self in him with some sort of weird mind link and or catch a virus. So
how would he catch a virus?
I would advise you from doing such because, I don't know. I don't know what's in there.
Well, I mean, I would go in there with some hand sanitizer, a parachute.
That's not going to help.
A gas mask.
You might
condom.
You might get like some necrosis of the brain or something, man. I don't know. I
mean, it's just amazing how it just changes gears so fast, though. It's like if you were a car, you would have burned through like 4 transmissions just in this last 10 minutes alone.
I don't know, man.
I'm trying to keep you on track here. You are saying that you have credible evidence and you believe that we're going to lose another football season and everything else because we're going to lock down again.
It's being reported in the news.
Who's reporting that?
The news.
Breitbart?
CNN, actually.
CNN.
And Washington Post was reporting that 3/4 of the people that are testing positive for COVID are fully vaccinated. Washington Post.
Okay.
All right.
So you think we're going to have another lockdown like we did in 2020?
I think so, yes.
You think so?
I think so. It could also be cover for all the election audits that are coming out as well, that they don't want that to happen.
So you really think Trump won still?
I think so. Stuff I'm seeing on the internet, it's like 9 million votes flipped.
Stuff you saw on the internet?
I'm like doing a quick Google search right now for CNN lockdown.
Also, Biden has also said it.
I've heard them say if we
Biden's
don't
also-
get vaccinated, there could be a lockdown as a threat, but I have not seen anything. And I can tell you one thing: Texas will not lock down.
Of course, Texas won't lock down unless they send the federalized National Guard in and lock everything down. But
No, because no Texas National Guardsman will respond to that.
Yeah,
I said federalized.
It doesn't matter. Federalized is a word. I bet you that if they came down here and said you are now federalized and you will force a lockdown in your state, not one fucking Texas guardsman's going to say okay.
No one in the South would, so that wouldn't be. So Oklahoma would say pound sand, Louisiana, Arkansas,
Texas would say
Tennessee,
pound sand. You can federalize them all day long. No Texan is going to lock down their state again.
You know what you're going to
I would
hear
suggest is listening
if
to
that
Tim Pool.
happens.
He's got a really amazing podcast, Timcast IRL,
and he says the Texans would lock themselves down.
No, they would not lock themselves down. Oh my God! What he is saying is that the country is getting balkanized, and he's hoping for a peaceful divorce. Those are the words that Tim Pool uses.
Well, what does that have to do with locking down and federalizing the National Guard?
What this is going to do is it's going to further divide the country into two or multiple different.
Hell yeah.
I
It's
mean,
like what me and Alex were saying for
But
years now.
between that and also just the rapid inflation of the currency due to zero.
that's why you need to get some coinage.
Silver? Yeah.
No,
That's also fiat currency.
crypto.
How about some lead? You need to get some more in your lead swear jar, my friend.
No, so here's what I'm gathering, right? If they were like, we're gonna federalize the National Guard,
Or
what's gonna happen here is you're gonna have a whole bunch of dudes in sweatpants and t-shirts and short shorts start going to the highest place in and around them. I don't care if it's a water tower or like a decent sized hill, and they're gonna start yelling, Wolverines! And then after that, we're just going to pretend we're going to the war with the Russians or the Chinese or what have you. That's what I just gathered. Is a whole bunch of very angry people would be like,
Well, it would
This
be
sounds
it would be
stupid.
a short war with the Chinese anyway.
yeah, no. We're,
Because
like I
they've
said,
got zero navy to move anything over.
well, what's
here.
going to happen
They're probably
is
the
if
Russian Navy,
if
but-
they're going to push like another lockdown,
Russia doesn't have a navy either.
I thought they had more ships than we do. I mean, they're granted rust buckets, most of them, but
Russia,
yes. We're talking about the ex-Soviet Union. They still have the leftovers of that, don't
Leland. Do you know how many aircraft carrier groups Russia has?
they? What, one?
They have a single aircraft carrier
One.
that
Do you
still
know how
is
many
not
full
operational.
operational aircraft carrier groups with supporting craft that the United States has?
Every Nimitz one that was created. Plus
15.
Plus the mothballed ones, which
They
are ready.
wouldn't make it 100 nautical miles off their shore on the way to the United States before they got wiped out.
Enterprise has been decommissioned. It can't be recommissioned. They took the reactors out of it.
Yeah, even then, we have a whole bunch of
We
stuff
still
we could
got
pull out of
15
mothballs.
carriers.
Yeah, and
15.
China has.
If China
three?
wants to chug their way over here over any ocean on the planet, they would not make it.
It would be a very unconventional situation because there's a little thing that's underneath the middle of the United States that the other continents don't have, and that is the Yellowstone supervolcano. So if all they have to do is put some sort of nuke on the lava dome and cause that thing to
Are you
burst.
listening to this?
All right, so
Are you listening to this?
we're gonna go like a la Fallout here. They're gonna just be like, we're
What
gonna nuke a
kind
super
of
volcano.
Fucking Dr. No, James Bond, evil,
Vid-
world-ending bullshit. Are
Yeah,
you going
this
up with
is
now?
like super Fallout
What do you expect that nuclear war is? Nuclear war is
because we're gonna go to nuclear war.
Leland. How are they going to get a nuclear warhead to Yellowstone?
well, the Mexican border's pretty porous right now, so they could probably smuggle it across that.
And you don't think we'd catch it?
I mean,
They could bring it in parts.
yes, because you could smuggle that much uranium
It doesn't
or
take
plutonium.
I would not root around in his head with a 12-pack of beer.
Told you.
I would take
I
an
advised
entire
you.
bottle of whiskey
I advised you not to.
straight.
An entire bottle.
And I would probably start smoking marijuana if Leland.
Only one bottle of whiskey, not an entire distillery. Come on, man.
I don't know, man.
Leland. Listen to yourself, man.
What?
This is on you, dude.
No country on this planet would stand a shitball's chance in hell attacking the United States on any front.
Other than like maybe Liechtenstein.
Liechtenstein would kick our ass.
Yes.
Outside of
Wait,
Liechtenstein.
Wait. We didn't win in Afghanistan?
Afghanistan, we didn't fight.
That
You know
was-
what happens when we fight? We reduce the fourth largest army in the world to nothing in less than 100 hours. That's what happens when we fight.
So what happened in Vietnam?
We didn't fight.
We generated a lot of
We
profit.
generated profit for the military-industrial complex. If we wanted to win in Vietnam, we would have won.
So who's to say that any conflict that would arise in the future we'd actually properly fight?
If you're talking about China attacking the United States,
Well, first of all, it would be a
that's
cyber
different than rooting around in Afghanistan, which also could not attack the United States. As a matter of fact, none of those countries over there could ever attack our. The only two countries that are even in a position to attack us are Canada and Mexico. And I've trained with the Canadian Army. They're drunks. Sorry, Canadian Army. I trained with you. You drink a lot.
I don't see them invading the U.S. because, they're kind of too nice for that. Now, the opposite way.
Now, and Mexico doesn't have a standing army that would last.
I could see us invading Canada now just because it would be good for them.
We lost the last time there was a Canadian United States war. That was, 1822 or something like that?
Yeah, that's a good benchmark for now because we had the world's most powerful navy in 1812.
1812.
Or 1790 or whatever the French-American War or the French and Indian War was. Yeah, that's a great benchmark.
Yes.
Leland. No one's going to attack the United States in a conventional war. No one. Zero. Nada. And if we go to China, it's going to be over quickly because we have the technology, we got the drones, we can knock out their support and infrastructure, we can knock out their command structure.
All the drones are made over there. We don't have any manufacturing infrastructure here in the States.
It doesn't matter.
That's what Trump was trying to rebuild.
It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to stand up to us like that. Nobody. China doesn't want a war with us. Do you know why?
Because then they lose their economy.
Because their economy would crash without us.
It would be hilarious.
You know why Germany doesn't want to fight us? Because they can't. You know why Russia doesn't want to fight us?
They can't afford to.
They can't afford to.
They can't even afford to pay their engineers at Roscosmos.
But Liechtenstein, on the other hand.
Them motherfuckers,
Liechtenstein, Monaco, and what's the name of that other little city-state that's not,
the Vatican?
Not the Vatican. There's another little country that's in Europe that's like a population
Malta?
of like...
Malta?
Might be Malta.
No, it's not Malta. They're on continental Europe. Like, it's not Liechtenstein. There's like another little butthole country.
Liechtenstein?
Yeah.
I would not mess with Liechtenstein.
Yeah, Luxembourg. That would be
Luxembourg.
it'd be the trifecta, the new evil axis
I'm
of
telling you.
Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, and
We would have to bow down to those boys.
in Monaco.
Now, Switzerland would just bankroll everything.
Yeah, I know.
And they would bankroll both sides because they're neutral.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. I mean,
like they've been doing for decades.
It just makes sense. We just
plus they're Switzerland.
Yeah.
It's a country full of rich, good-looking people.
And
no one wants to mess
who
with
guard the Pope?
Who guard the Pope?
Yeah. So obviously they're not going to get.
And the guys that guard the Pope are named after a very good whiskey.
The Swiss Guard? Yeah.
Beefeaters. Right?
No.
Did I get that right?
No, the Beefeaters gin, and those are the people who guard.
Gin, yeah.
Yeah, and
the Beefeaters guard the Pope.
No, they don't guard the Pope.
Yeah, they do.
No, they guard the Queen.
Oh.
Yeah, and the gin was named after them.
No, they were named after the gin. Pretty sure.
No.
No.
Muy malo. Yeah, no, the Swiss Guard, those guys just kind of do Swiss Guard stuff and make sure the Pope
Swiss Guard
mobiles
stuff.
Here's my thing, and I just wonder, like, if there's, like, they have the same logistics issues like the Swiss Guard does whenever they're on active deployments, I would describe it as. Like, they're taking the Pope over to, I don't know, Latin America. They're over here fixing up, like, their Pope mobile, and they're like, yeah, this is bullshit. I don't have anything to fix my Pope mobile, And I'm just wondering, like, what's the logistics of flying the Pope everywhere? And having the Pope mobile and the other assorted Swiss Guard.
The Catholic Church. Holy cow, what are you doing?
The mic boom just decided to go wrong.
The Catholic Church is the richest entity in the world.
Probably just as intensive as one the Secret Services deploy whenever the president goes out of Washington, D.C.
Yeah, but, like, you don't see President Biden going into, like, Ethiopia or, like, Mozambique or something where
Catholic Church
the Pope will end up just rolling through, Pope does some crazy Pope stuff.
There's plenty of documentaries on YouTube which shows so you have a basic idea, getting back to the Secret Service, of what they have to do to have a presidential visit somewhere.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It takes several months of planning. They have scout teams, and then they forward deploy.
So the president shouldn't go anywhere if he's a Democrat because he's wasting America's money?
I think any sitting president should
not go anywhere.
Exactly, because
stay in Washington and just don't go anywhere, man.
It costs like $200,000.
How am I going to reach my people if I don't go anywhere?
It costs $200,000.
Leland, you're one of my best supporters. You're one of my best supporters. How am I going to go anywhere, Leland? I tell you, when I go someplace, I really go. I go good. I go places better than anyone else, Leland. Where's your support for me?
Yeah.
How am I going to golf and how am I going to go to Lago Vista if I can't go down there?
With that being said, I could see it where, I mean, for
That's actually a pretty good Trump.
90% of what the president does
You
can
guys
now
say
be.
huge-
I was working on that.
90% of what the president can do nowadays can be accomplished with like an email and a Skype call. Let's be real
Pretty
about
much.
this.
Yeah.
Hey, Japan, what's up? All right, cool, tight. Later, deuces,
dude.
and just be done. Hey, let me message you on Facebook. Don't do this.
Let me put out some mean tweets.
Thanks, Putin. Later. That should be what government breaks down to. Hey,
Yeah.
Kim Jong Un, quit being a
Yes,
chode.
stop doing that.
Cool, thanks, bro.
So,
Tight.
But you're basically
so
president of the White House.
so you're following Trump pretty close,
Like,
right?
Yes.
do they have
So
Uber?
is he down there? Is he down there making policy right now?
He is in Bedminster, and he actually had something. They actually called it a cabinet meeting. They actually called it a cabinet meeting.
So he still thinks he's president.
Okay.
Well, this was a fun show.
Here's my thing, right? And I really wonder about this too. Like, how much if we kind of get rid of like some of that federal spending for flying the president around everywhere?
Yeah, that's literally millions of dollars every
Yeah.
visit.
Did you complain about it when Trump was flying around everywhere?
I
No,
did.
you were not.
I mean,
no,
I-
you were not.
I complained about it, but that's because my job as an American is to complain whenever the government spends money
Hell,
on stuff that I don't like.
Hell, I met Air Force
complain.
One. Yes,
You
and I
didn't
saw how
complain
expensive it was
one
first.
more.
Oh my god!
You did not complain one bit when Trump was gallivanting around the whole world.
Actually, I did because I go like, why is
No,
this
you didn't. Not at the point that you're criticizing Biden and Obama.
Yeah.
Actually, Biden hardly goes anywhere. He either goes back to Delaware or he goes to Camp David every weekend.
Hey,
and the
that's
rumor is
I
the
can't
reason why
complain
he
about
does
those
that
two.
is because his dementia is just so obvious that he feels more familiar in Camp David or or his house in Delaware than he does. In
And
the White
both
House.
of those are much lower security risks than him flying to like, I don't know, Guatemala.
there you go.
I don't think he's done an international trip.
No.
Oh, wait, he did one, the G7.
Yeah,
that was it.
And even then, like, you know what? All this can be achieved with Skype and Facebook Messenger.
True.
Pretty much.
And I'm good with that. You know, if we
with
cut
it,
the
too.
amount of spending,
I'm okay with it too. That's why it's like if you really want to run for president, you realize you are a prisoner of the job and you're a prisoner of the White House. That literally costs.
And if you're a Democrat, you really can't do anything presidential.
oh my god. No, you know, all I'm saying is that like if we limited the spending that they use for flying around and doing presidential bullshit, we could invest that into cooler death rays. And like here's
Pretty
my
much.
thing with government spending. While I agree that a lot of this frivolous, we're going to print a whole bunch of money because people need free gimmies and handouts. Yeah, it's kind of dumb. Go get a job, hippie. But with that being said, if we're funding like a death ray to go and like, you know,
Which would be super
give
cool.
it to some 21-year-old who's, you know, in E6 or something in the Space Force so he can carve a giant penis into the moon, I'm okay with that. You know, I'm cool with funding death rays and invading the moon. I'm not cool with paying $3 or $4 million for the president to go to.
or you put a bunch of money into a program that
San
stopped,
Francisco.
like the initial 1960s space program. They put all this money into a program which they knew was unstable just to get to the moon about 3 or 4 years sooner in order to beat the Russians. And it was not sustainable in order to do moon bases. If they actually planned it out properly, we would have been probably a multiplanetary species at this point. We probably would have been the Mars. The simple fact of the matter is that Elon Musk, all the magic mushrooms that he takes,
Oh my God!
The fact-
Yeah, let's criticize one of the
God.
richest men in the world
But
who's getting us back to the moon and possibly to Mars.
Yeah.
He complained that I interrupt. But the thing is that his rocket, the Starship, you know I had to go there. The Starship is actually going to have an orbital flight before SLS. In fact, it would not be surprising if the Starship actually has that orbital flight by the end of this month.
Starship is what?
It's the thing that Elon Musk is building down in Boca Chica, Texas. It is a fully
You know, he's
reasonable-
already had vehicles go into space and orbit the Earth, right?
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know the Dragon, but this is a fully reusable spacecraft, which has never happened. Even the Dragon is only
I think the
80%
space shuttle would.
not fully reusable. No, the tank The tank was jettisoned into the atmosphere, and the shuttle had to be heavily serviced between missions. Even the Falcon 9
Still
and the
counts.
Falcon Heavy and the Dragon, there's parts of it that can't be reused. The second stage and the trunk of the Dragon. The Starship is the first fully reusable spacecraft where every single part of it is going to be able to come back and be reused like an airliner. You won't have to do massive servicing, which would take months between missions.
So that's why you're bagging on his mushroom use.
Yeah.
It takes someone that nuts in order to actually break the paradigm to actually say, you know what, fuck it, we're going to do it. And that was 10:31, so 90 minutes into the show. Fuck it, we're going to do it this way and experiment.
Now, you were bagging on him.
Yeah. How dare you
It
insult
takes
Daddy
someone
Musk?
that crazy in order to actually get something done. And
I
the fact
agree.
that- and the
I'm a
fact-
big
and-
Musk fan.
and the fact that-
I think he's going to get us off this fucking planet.
And
Musk
the fact
raps.
that he is doing these projects with or without NASA's support, which is how he got the Lunar Starship contract, is that Musk was saying, I'm developing the actual Starship already. Throw a couple billion my way. We could just modify it slightly and make it the lunar landing vehicle for Artemis. But why have Artemis at all? Just have a couple starships that are fully reusable. And the fact that we're going to have, and the fact that one of the SLS flights, which was originally mandated by Congress, the Jupiter Clipper, Europa Clipper that goes to the Jupiter moon of Europa, that went from the SLS to the Falcon Heavy, proven rocket.
So
and it will save the taxpayers $400 million.
So let me ask you this: when Elon Musk creates a vehicle that will leave Earth and land back on the moon, what studio in Hollywood will he be filming that in?
Oh my God.
We're going there.
Yes.
Funny factoid.
That was a
actually.
question, right?
That-
Yeah.
That was a legitimate question, right?
Roses are red, violets are blue.
I believe we landed
the
on the
Earth
moon,
is
by the
round
way.
and we landed on the moon too.
I know we did. I'm just fucking with you.
I think we landed on the moon. The Russians would have called us out on it. We had the better Nazis. There, I said it. Werner von Braun, Operation Paperclip. We had the better Nazis than the Soviets. That's why our rockets didn't blow up.
And we had more money.
Yeah, mostly more money.
Mostly more money.
Well, there was actually, I forget the guy's name, but there was
and
this
a
guy
better
that was, that
and
was in
a
charge of the
better
Russian
and a
space
better
program.
and a better infrastructure to build all that stuff.
Well, the thing is that the Russians, they were beating us for a while until the guy that was in charge of the Russian space program during the Soviet era, not Roscosmos, died. I think it was in 1967. That's when everything went sideways with them.
What did he die of?
I have to look that up.
Being a Soviet,
Yeah.
he was handed a pistol and told to make the right
No, it
decision.
wasn't like that.
He
Head
got,
of the Russian space
he got
program that
deaded?
died in the 1960s.
Why don't you just type it in, dude?
yeah,
That's why you have weak thumbs.
dude.
I got fat thumbs because so it's got.
Well, maybe because you don't use them
You
enough.
don't use them enough.
Yeah, use your thumbs more, bro.
All right. So what are we doing next week?
Great job, team. Head back to base for debriefing and cocktails.